Okay, this week we're covering Allen's Dirt, the game. It was produced in 2013 by Eric Allen, and it's a self-published game that's out there. And I was kind of interested in it because it was a sprint car game, and in racing games there's not a lot of sprint cars. You have some mostly Grand Prix and then some stock cars, but not much in the way of sprint cars and dirt tracks, which I've always thought were kind of interesting because it's a fairly common American pastime, and even these little towns like I live in have a track that runs sprint car races occasionally. So, a little bit on sprint car racing, just to kind of give you guys a background. Sprint cars specifically are these high-powered open-wheel race cars, and they're designed primarily for the purpose of running on short, oval dirt tracks. The wingless sprint cars are considered the traditional one, and they date back to the first sprint cars in the 1930s and 40s, and those actually ultimately evolved into more Indy car lines. Sprint cars have a very high power-to-weight ratio, with weights of around 1,400 pounds and power outputs of over 900 horsepower, which gives them a power-to-weight ratio that's better than most contemporary Formula One cars. Typically, they're powered by a V8 engine with a displacement of about 410 cubic inches, and they're capable of engine speeds of about 9,000 RPM, so they're quite powerful for their size. Depending on the mechanical setup and the track layout, these cars can achieve speeds of around 160 miles per hour or even more. For safety, they use roll cages, and especially on dirt tracks, they add these wings, which push down on the car and increase the surface traction to the track to help protect the drivers and keep rollovers from happening. Because they're cheaper than a lot of the other cars and the tracks are very plentiful, races are still quite common throughout the rural United States, even in small towns. They used to have guys that would go from fair to fair and race these and try to win money to do so. Those days are kind of done, but there's still a lot of local racers out there. It's known for its rowdier nature than other types of racing, which makes it kind of exciting. And there is an emphasis on more aggressive driving, and crashes are often very common, although injuries aren't. So it's still an interesting form of racing. Now, Allen's Dirt, the rules. Let's go through those a little bit. And this game actually came with a fairly short set of rules, and I've actually added a little bit to it for two reasons. I think one, it left some gaps when I actually played it, and I needed to fill those in. And also, I wanted to make it just a little more exciting. So what I'm suggesting here for the rules in my modification are you start with 6 racers participating in a race. And to qualify for the pole position, every racer rolls 2 dice 6, and whoever has the highest goes into the pole position here. You then go in order of the rest of the rolls. If there's any ties, you just roll again. And the pole position, the person sitting in pole position gets a +1 on their first roll during the game. Rolls to move are 2d6, and you just basically roll and move. It doesn't make it a really great game in that respect, in that it's pretty luck-driven, but there's some other rules which I think make it a little more exciting. I recommend racing just 4 laps until you get a hang for the game. Otherwise, it gets to be pretty chaotic. And you do need to do some record keeping while the game's going on who's in what position, because, again, lapping occurs very commonly with these short tracks. Players have to use all their movement, and even if that means landing on a trouble location. And there's these trouble locations here and here. When you go around the corners, you have to either choose the inside or the outside lane at this point. And you can't go through this middle lane right in here. If you want to, you can stop short. If there's a car ahead of you and you would run into it, you can stop short to avoid contact. However, the next turn that you move, you can only use 1d6 instead of the 2d6 to move. That kind of simulates having to slow down and start back up again. Also, if you land on a trouble location when you stop short, those do apply. However, if you end up on the sweet spot, it does not apply if you're stopping short, so you don't get that extra. Obviously, racers can only move forward, or they can change lanes. You're free to change lanes at any time, and you can do that in a diagonal fashion. The only place you could actually move backwards was if you were in the pits and the instructions up here told you so. So obviously racers can't occupy the same spot on the track unless there's a contact that occurs. The start-finish line is considered one move. Okay, if you end up on a skip-a-turn space, you roll 2d6, and if you get a 2, you take a yellow flag. Yellow flag simply means you have to go to the back of the pack. You lose any laps that you've gained. So if you were, say, in your third lap of the game and the last player was in the second lap, you landed on one of these spaces, rolled a 2, then you'd be back, yellow flagged, and back behind that last racer, and you'd go from 3 laps to 2. If you go to the pits and you land on this, you roll 2d6, and if you get a 2 through 5, you have to go into the pits. Otherwise, you move at half speed the next turn, but you don't have to go in there. And if you're told to the pits, you have to go either backwards or forward. If you're here forward, you get to go forward into the pits, and if you're here backwards, you go back to the pits. And when you go in the pits and you're trying to leave the pits, you roll 1d6 to get out. Okay, contact. This is the fun here. If a racer is on the course is overtaking another racer, he can choose to go around that racer. If he can stop directly, and we've talked about that, behind it, or he can make contact by driving into or through the other racer. Now, if contact's made, both racers roll a 2d6, and the racer with the lowest roll is affected by the contact. In the event of the tie, you roll again. The affected racer then has to make a subsequent roll of 2d6, and if they roll a 2 or 3, they get a crash and they're eliminated from the race. If they get a 4 or 5, they immediately go to the pits, and if a racer rolls 11 or 12, he spins, resulting in a yellow flag, and that racer has to go back, as I mentioned above, and start at the back of the field. Any other roll results in the racer moving half speed on their next roll. If a crash occurs, all players within 5 spaces behind the crash have to roll a 2d6 and determine if they're caught in the crash. They then roll, if they roll a 2 or 3, they're involved and they're also eliminated from the race. If you roll a snake eyes on your move, in other words, a natural 2, you spin out. And if you spin out, that results in a yellow flag, and you have to go to the back of the pack, as mentioned above. Okay, so I'm going to set the game up here. I'm going to make the assumption that I already rolled 2d6 for all the drivers, and this is the order they came out. So in other words, Jason Johnson, number 41, is going to be in pole position at number 1, followed by Greg Wilson, number 20. He'll be in position 2. Brad Sweet will be in position 3, number 49. Shane Stewart, number 71, will be in 4. Jason Sides, 7S, will be in 5. And Donnie Schatz will be in 6 at number 15. And with these cars, I'm not always going to point them in the right direction, so you're going to have to bear with me on that. I just don't want to spend a lot of time just turning these cars, so we're just going to assume they're always pointing forward. I think everybody can agree to that. Okay, number 41, Jason Johnson is going to rolls an 8, so he gets to move 8. And he hits that sweet spot, so he gets to roll again. 10. He's done really well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10. Okay. Followed by Greg Wilson, number 20. Gets a 10. Followed by number 49, Brad Sweet, who rolls a 7. And you can see he's going into that groove. 6, number 71, Shane Stewart. Followed by Jason Sides. Jason Sides rolls a 3. Doesn't even make it to the start line hardly. Donnie Schatz, 4. Didn't do much better. Okay, so this is the first turn. Now with these turns, I'm going to write down who's in what order. If everybody was a player, it would be a little easier. But since I'm doing this solo, and so number 49, since he's on the inner lane, is going to be ahead of number 71. And you always start with the first roll is going to be the person in the lead. So we've got number 41, followed by number 20, followed by number 49, followed by number 71, followed by number 15, followed by number 7. Okay, Jason Johnson rolls and gets a 4. And gets another sweet spot. Man, he's doing good. Only 3, but hey, that isn't going to hurt. 5 for number 20, Greg Wilson. Followed by number 49, Brad Sweet. Gets a 6. Followed by 71, 7. Followed by number 15, Donnie Schatz. It's 5, 2, 3. And last is 7S, number 6 with Jason Sides. 1, 2. And he gets a slide. Okay, so he slid into number 15. So now we need to see, since they're occupying the same space, what's going to happen. So I'm going to roll. 15 is going to be the first. Number 15 will have the first dice. 7S will have the second. So we get a 6 and a 3. So 15 gets the 6. 7S, that would be Jason Sides, gets the 3. So Jason Sides is the one that's going to have to roll to see what happens. Check our table here. And roll. So it's a 4. And 4 to 5 immediately goes to the pits. So he gets, since he's back behind, he gets to move to the pits here. He'll get a 1d6 next roll. So, okay. Let's put everybody in order now. 41, followed by 20, followed by 71, followed by 49, followed by 15, followed by 7S, who's in the pits. 41 gets to go. 8, Jason Johnson gets an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. So Jason Johnson passed the first lap. Greg Wilson gets a 4. Okay. Shane Stewart is a 10. Pulls him in second place. Jason's, excuse me, Brad Sweet. And 15 is going to be 5. Okay. Finally, Jason Side, 7S is going to go, and he gets a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got fresh right rear tire, so he gets to roll again. I'm going to make that a D6 again. 1. Not enough to get out of the pits. Okay. He'll roll normally the next time. So, but that puts him in a nice position here. So we've got in order 41, 71, 20, 49, 7S, and 15. Okay, next turn. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Number 71. Shane Stewart, 6. Shane Stewart reaches his first lap. Put a little marker up here. Number 20. Greg Wilson gets a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh man, he's pulling up. Okay, he gets a marker. Let's get these in the right place. Okay. Wait, 20 got it. 41 got it. 71 got it. 49 is still back there. Let's see. This is where it gets bad, is it? It's kind of hard to keep track of everybody here. So 71. So people with the first lap are Jason Johnson, Greg Wilson, and Shane Stewart. Okay, that gives us 49. 6. Okay. 7S. Coming out of the pits. Jason Sides. Just makes 3, but that's okay. Okay. And 15. Finally, Donnie Schatz is going to go. And 6. And he wants to go on that inside track. Okie dokie. So this gives us, in order, 41, 71, 20, 49, 15, and 7/8. 12. Okay, now this is going to cause what are we going to do? Are we going to slow down or are we going to crash? I think we are going to try a slowdown at this point. So okay, and we will attempt to slow down behind this guy. So we're going to stop short, and that's going to make us, we're going to have to go at half strength next time. So I'm going to put a little yellow flag there just to indicate that. So 41 went, then we go 71, 9. Okay. Number 20, 5. Slides out. 49. 15. Okay, this will be the game. We'll see who's going to win here. So 7S, 71, 20, 15, 49, and 41. 49's pulled ahead. It's amazing that 41 was in the lead there for so long. Okay, 7S, 9 is going to win the game. So 7S, Jason Sides. We'll move Jason Sides into first position here, first place. 7. 7 is going to be, or 71, Shane Stewart takes second place. Okay, then it's going to go 20, 15, 49, 41. Let's see, 20, 7. 6. 49. And finally 41. 9. Okay, 20 is going to go. 9. Finishing in third, number 20, Greg Wilson. 41 is going to go. 15 is going to go. And finally, 49 is going to go. 5. Okay. 15, 9. Fourth place. 15, Tiny Schatz. Okay, it's down to these two. 41 is going to come in. And finally, 49. Jason Johnson is 5th, and Brad Sweet is 6th. So the order is Jason Sides wins the race, followed by Shane Stewart. Then it's Greg Wilson in 3rd, Donnie Schatz in the 4th place position. 5th is Jason Johnson, and then at the end is Brad Sweet. So that's Alan's Dirt. It's a interesting game. I think for an auto racing game, it's got some good parts to it in that it lets you have some action. It moves fast. I'd say the major drawback of this game is it's pretty much a typical primitive kind of roll and go type of game with all sorts of little hazards that you can hit along the way. But all in all, as a beer and pretzels game, I think it works pretty well, and it's actually a decent racing game. I'm going to give it probably a 6 out of 10 at this point. I don't think it's something I would play a lot of, but if I got the right people, it would be kind of fun. So that's it. It's pretty quick game this week. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video or want to see more, hit the like and subscribe. I really do appreciate those. They really motivate me to make more videos. So till next week, I'll see you later.